But also when you're on set, because accidents do happen. Happens all the time. We talk about, people got to be fucking careful. I'm talking about some stunt accidents that have been happening and some lawsuits may be coming forward. I group these together because these two things I heard about, I'm like, oh, Fast and the Furious for one. Apparently Fast and Furious is being sued for $1 million, and they're going to actually settle, I guess, to their stuntman who suffered brain damage after an accident. And it's one of those things, the guy, Joe Watts, he suffered a broken skull, guys. A broken skull after falling 8 meters onto concrete, landing on his head in an accident during Fast and Furious.
That sucks really bad.
Yeah, and Mike, what they were describing, it's like every day on set. It's like, oh, we were rushing, we reset really fast. We should have reset the pads when we did that. We didn't. We wanted to change the shot really quick. We didn't check the harnesses, and we just went, and then the harness came off, and the guy hit his head. Luckily, he lived. He's in a wheelchair, but luckily he lived. And for him, he's suing, saying they should have taken more precautions. But everybody knows that it goes on set. Sometimes just rushing, just trying to get the shot, running out of light. That's what happens, and it shouldn't happen. We should be always thinking about safety. And as these stunt performers said, it should be more about safety first of the person doing it and not the shot. But unfortunately, it's not
safety
always
last. We know the drill.
Safety last. Yeah. Same thing happened on Squid Game. Safety last. And in Squid Game, though, like all these people that were playing the new Squid Game, you guys have probably seen it on Netflix right now, and all the contestants do a reality show. But we talked about this before. They're going to be suing. They're putting it together, a case together, because they got, during the first red light, green light, apparently it was so cold in the UK, they were suffering from hypothermia, nerve damage, and they're calling it trauma for the rest of their lives now, of course. And that happened. And then Harry Potter, I heard too, on Harry Potter, like Henry Radcliffe's stunt guy died. He got thrown against the wall, and the strap came off, and it paralyzed him. And that was a whole article that came out a couple weeks ago. So these things happen on set, and I just put it out there, everybody, right now. It's like we hear about these accidents, we hear about people rushing, we hear about what we fight for when we're doing union contract negotiations. I think at the end of the day, though, I think we forget that we're human beings doing a job. And I feel like that overall, we could be better at safety. We could, because Ron, you've been on set for a long time. Have you seen incidents like that where maybe you think they probably could have double check on that? They could have done something more, but they just push the boundaries because they want to make a day. Isn't that a normal thing that happens?
Oh, it's totally a normal thing that happens. In fact, one of the a hot word on set is safety, or it's not safe. And so many times I would be talking to a producer saying, we need to do this, we need to do that. We don't have time. Yeah, but we need this. We don't have time. We don't have the money.
Always time for safety.
Safe. It's not safe. And they're like, what do you need? Shut it down. What do you need? I'm like, I need what I asked for. And I see it happening all the time. And I have slowed things down intentionally so people could get their stuff done.
There's a lot of stuff you're working with when you were on set, Ron. It's like very dangerous equipment at times, right?
Oh yeah.
So someone could be injured very easily, and some of these setups and stuff, you're very involved with a lot of this. Or you were.
Absolutely.
And you've seen people just be like you said, they just go, it'll be okay. But people get hurt all the time on set. And it's like, do you think that these people have a lawsuit like the people on Squid Game? Or, I mean, the guy from Fast and Furious, he definitely had one. But do you think that Squid Game people have a case against the production?
No, I grow a set on that one. It's just, no, come on. It's just, the you said it was a $1 million lawsuit though?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. It's only $1 million.
I am kind of too. I'm very shocked, especially brain damage. And that guy's done for the rest of his life. Right. So I can't imagine him working again the way that they talk about his injuries. Usually that's a multi-million-dollar. Yeah, right. They should be grateful to be working. A lot of stunts are done on CGI.
Different takes in the comments.
Queen, there is that, but they still do a lot of practical effects. Like I worked on a show before the shutdown from the strikes, where they lit a guy on fire, and they've done that in years. My first time seeing it, they still lit him on fire and had him run across a field and jump in a pool. Coolest thing ever to see live, and they were very cautious about it. But someone get badly hurt. You can't fuck around. Okay, Jacob, do you think that this is going to change though in Hollywood? Do you think that safety will become a bigger thing? I mean, again, we've had things with the Alec Baldwin thing and a lot of safety stuff coming out recently. Do you think that anything's going to change in the future, or will people still think about money more than safety moving forward?
I am very glad that they're finally holding studios accountable. I've only been doing this for about 10 years within the industry. I've seen crazy shit that I'm like, why is that happening? How is that even an excuse to let happen? I'm going to do a cheap plug too. Go check out my IPA session with Crystal Martin, who is a professional stunt woman. She talks about all the training. Stuntmen do not fuck around. They take safety extremely serious. It is their number one goal when they are on set. When it is a stunt shoot and the stuntmen are in charge, you cannot get any safer. However, when it's not a stunt shoot and it's people filming a stunt segment and the stunt leaders are not involved, that's when things tend to slip under. And they're like, hey, we don't have time. Let's do this. Right. And they don't take safety into account. And a lot of these stuntmen, they're extremely talented. They're very smart with how they've done things, but anything can go wrong at any moment. It doesn't matter how safe you are. It doesn't matter if you're just doing a bit where you're jumping from a table onto the grass. Something can go horribly wrong. And that's why stuntmen do everything they can to be as extremely safe, to give entertainment to the masses and to give us those awesome fight sequences, to give us those awesome explosions, those awesome cars ramping off of cliffs, those stunt bikes. All that stuff is super cool, and they bust their ass and they put their life on the line. But their safety should always come first. Yeah. And I've seen not just within the stunt community, I have seen on set outside of the stunt community, like Ron was saying, there are moments where, for example, you have electricians on set, they have lighting, they have equipment, you have generators going. Rain starts to happen. It's just a drizzle. That's fine. But all of a sudden you see lightning or you hear the thunder and you start realizing that this is getting closer, and they do things like they shut things down when lightning strikes within a certain radius. I have been on productions where producers thought it wasn't a big deal. We need this take. We really need to get it now so we can finish our day. And thank God we had an intelligent gaffer who straight up shut the power down, had his guys that were up in the condors get out while they're all bitching and moaning to him. And he's like, go ahead, bitch me out. But that's the safety hotline who I just fucking called. So be mad at me that I had to shut production down. He took it upon himself to shut production down. It pissed everyone off on set. But you know what? He came back the next day with the job still intact and his crew still intact, and nobody was hurt, because he did the right thing. And it's Jacob, very rare that you see that happen.
This is what these professionals need to be empowered to do. It's absolutely critical. It's their job. And despite the pressures of the fact that you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on your shoot that day, like I understand people putting pressure on everybody that's working to finish what they're working on, and I think that's where that pressure kind of comes from. But you need these people, and they're saying it in the chat too, like we have to drill it into their heads that they are empowered to say no, and that there's not. It's interesting. I actually really like this. I wrote a lot when I was trying to figure out my response to this. It's power and control dynamics. So we need to make sure that people that are in the position to shut that down feel empowered to shut it down, to say no, because this, right? Ron, what do you got?
Well, yeah, I mean, but so many people, especially the ones in the position, the whole industry is so much based on fear, you know? And even these people in the position are fearful that they're going to lose their job.
Yeah, you're not going to get hired back if you're not willing to cut it super close, right?
Absolutely.
That's fucked. That's so fucked. That's so fucking fucked, man.
I haven't electrocuted on this shit. Sets are dangerous.
I've had the set, like the whole set just going fucking crazy over stuff. And then I'll be doing something and my boss will be yelling at me, the director will be yelling, and literally I talk to my guys like this. I'm like, go ahead, bring in a ladder and bring it to the set over there, and we'll get to that light above it. I'll slow everything down. And they're yelling and stuff, and I'm like, I got it. Yep. And probably because I didn't care, but it's like, I don't need to run around frantic like that. And when you're running around frantic like that, you're not being safe. You know, that's when accidents happen.
People get hurt.
somebody can trip.
I'm sure you've all been hurt on set before too. Like I've been electrocuted. I have had my knee. I've had skin shaved off my knee from stepping out of a truck. Simple things, and it's not anyone's fault. These are just sets are dangerous, and you have to be aware. The electrocution was nothing bad. It was like touching a dog wire, like a wire fence for a dog. But like it was something was plugged in. It was raining, but there was no lightning, so generators were still going. I was the first to realize, like, hey, this hot box here, it's got a little juice on it that can put some reverb into the charging station for walkies, and I got shocked. I got the piss shocked out of me. It fucking hurt. I was like, fuck, don't touch that. And thankfully the electrician saw it, was like, hey man, and he like shut everything down. It was not his fault or my fault. It was just we weren't aware. It was something that happened, because these things can happen. And that was taking safety into account. Yeah. And that was trying to be safe. It's just these things happen. And so like ever since then, I'm always aware, like if I see something from what I've experienced, I let people know, like, hey man, maybe shut that down before you touch it. Hey, it's maybe take that over there. We have a system when, like Ron was saying, you guys carry ladders, you carry, the rigging poles and stuff, and you're always yelling points, and you're trying to let people know, hey, points on set, and people don't want to listen. And it's like, you hear points, that means move out of the way, watch your face, because you're about to get smacked. So like there are protocols, and generally the crew follows these protocols because we give a shit if we live or die. Yes. We actually care. Absolutely. But upper heads, they'll get so fucking pissed. They'll get so fucking pissed. Yeah. And it's like, hey man, that's someone's life you need to like take into account. Like this is a production, and I work on TV shows. So like, I'm not really making art here. Okay. Let's be honest. It's a fucking television show. I love to watch it's still art like everyone else.
It's still art.
There's still art there. There's still art there. All kinds of I work on formulaic TV shows.
I did 35 years of sitcoms.
And I love sitcoms. I fucking love sitcoms. They're great. And I've worked on features that are art, in my opinion, because they're really well done. And it's a director that actually comes in with the shooting script and knows what they're doing, unlike TV shows. Yes. There's a pattern that you see. That's all I'm saying. But the crew is always safe. And unfortunately, it seems like producers don't really take that into account, because they really are just thinking about money. And to be fair to the producers, they're to a point where they also put themselves in danger. I have been on shows where a producer has been seriously injured. I have seen.
Look at the guy who lost his leg.
Yep, that's the show I was talking about.
I mean,
it was bad, and that wasn't his fault. And I believe they did everything they could that day to be safe. It wasn't. A stunt can go bad, and that's what happened. A stunt went bad, and a car drifted into an area it shouldn't have. These things happen. That's also why you're supposed to clear out. And they try to tell everyone, like, you should really clear out. So moving forward, people are trying to be more aware of that with certain stunts, that they're like, hey, let's learn from this experience. But then there are times like the gaffer who had to be like, no, I'm shutting production down because you're a fucking idiot. You should know better. That's lightning. This is electrical power. Shut it the fuck down. That's a gas generator. Shut it down. Kaboom, kaboom. Like, that's not what you're filming.
Sorry. What about that dude, Vic Moreau, on the Twilight Zone movie? His head was chopped off
by a helicopter.
Oh, yeah, terrifying.
It's not going bad.
Yeah, you kids don't know about that stuff, but yeah.
Oh no, I'm familiar. I was on the Wikipedia article about that like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
really? Yeah.
There's a Cursed Films on Shudder. It's fantastic. They talk all about that crazy shit. And John Landis, man, I'm really shocked by that. And Steven Spielberg was there. I know for a fact he was there. I'm talking shit on your show. I don't care if your 700 viewers hear me or not. Steven Spielberg was there.
Burning Bridges is a long time cruise control tradition.
It's a thing on cruise control. It is. If we're not burning bridges, we're reporting the news. But yeah, overall though, it's been a trend in Hollywood where people just like to cut the corners here and there, and that's why these accidents happen. Now, maybe not every time. Freak accidents happen. Sometimes productions are very safe, but I still think that end of the day, negotiations with these contracts are meaningful in a lot of ways. Stunts, we're fighting for a lot in this one too. Protections go a long way, and we need to keep these people safe. They make some amazing art that a lot of actors can't do. They step out and let that person take over, and they kill it. They destroy that scene the way they couldn't do it themselves, and we can't lose that art. I know CGI is very popular, but there's something about, I think Kato said, about a guy jumping off a roof and like landing into like 50 boxes, and he lives and he's fine.
It looks beautiful.
It's a thing. And it looks amazing. And we can't lose that art because of some handfuls of assholes who are trying to save a buck, and then people are hurt because of it. Now, again, those people need to be taken care of, but I think that all these contracts, everything moving forward, they should be warning signs for what can come, and we need to take care of our people so we can keep making art and not sacrificing it because of assholes that are all caring about money.
Right. And one more thing too. Someone mentioned in the chat about Hong Kong cinema. Yes, it was extremely fucking dangerous, but they changed the formula, and Hollywood studios and Hong Kong cinema learned from all that shit and became more safety aware. But at the time, absolutely zero fucking safety. But that's what changed perspectives because of Hong Kong cinema.
Great that they changed it.
Yeah, they need to change it. Well, hopefully everybody keeps learning from all these situations, especially as we hear about more and more coming forward. It's like, I'm like, oh, I heard so many. I'm like, this isn't something we have to talk about this. That hopefully they fix it so that we hear about this less, because we got to keep it safe.
It can look fantastic and everyone can be happy. Just take your time. Safety first.
Take your time. Safety first, not money first, right?
And it'll be worth it, because you rush it looks like shit and they never use it. That's the other thing. They never use the footage because they rush it.
Never do.